I'll say, Jono.
Cheers on the Boca. Yes,
Yeah.
and Loftus being at full capacity yesterday.
Yeah, it was amazing being back there. Like, it was like such a huge occasion, and then it sort of just fell flat a little bit, you know, when the game actually started.
Yeah, especially after those 2 quick tries.
Yeah.
But it was nice to be there. We were both there, and it was very, very, very there were many people, and it was so noisy.
Yeah, 51,000 people. Anyway,
If
yeah.
possible.
So I think. What did you think of the Welsh performance? I thought it looked like they were playing very well. I think we were also playing quite poorly. It seemed like we were very slow. Faf de Klerk specifically for me was very slow with his service, and I think on the high fault on a hard surface you should try and get quick ball and try speed up the game.
Yeah, look, I thought, to be fair, the Welsh played very well in the first half. Their defence was excellent, so it was difficult for us to penetrate the defences. I also found that when you're live, you can see there wasn't much of a size difference in the forwards. There's some big boys in that Welsh team, and
especially when you consider the URC, the guys that came over from the Welsh teams, they didn't seem like that tough and big, but in
this team they were big
players.
chaps, and they were taking hits well, but eventually physicality did help for us a little bit with the likes of Visa and that.
Just get on shot.
And I was impressed in the end, but I thought that as much as they were defending well, I thought that our attacking was really poor. It was individualistic,
one-dimensional.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a coordinated attack.
One-off passes and that.
And everyone trying to just hit the gap and what have you.
Especially if you consider Wells's first try, which was a very well-worked backline move.
Yeah.
And that's what created the space. And then Zamet Rees scored in the corner.
Zamet has got pace.
He does.
And I actually quite like the guy. I think he's a great rugby player, and I think they're very lucky to have a player like that in their team. But they played really well. It was very niggly, and I was reading today that Dan Bigger said that was deliberate. They were trying to be confrontational. They were trying to be niggly, but they weren't trying to be dirty. I don't think it got dirty.
I don't think it was dirty.
I just think admittedly, Sia said they got under their skins.
Yeah.
Distracted them a little bit. The smallest guy on the field, Cheslin's trying to fight with everyone at Faf, which I always think is hilarious.
Yeah.
But eventually, the Springboks came out second half, and you could see the intent was there, But I must just comment on a few players, maybe.
Yeah.
Like Alton Janchis just proved again why that I must just retire from Springbok rugby now, and I can't understand why we persist. My gut feel tells me, and I'm sorry to say this, there's something behind the scenes, that's created a little bit of something, I don't know. But to have that guy play so poorly was a problem for me.
It was a huge momentum killer, but
big time.
Jacques Nienalba now today says he's only played 30 minutes this season.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I almost feel like Elton Jantjies is he's a player of two sort of, either he's amazing or he's terrible, and the last while he's struggled.
Yeah, and it's fine if one facet of your play is bad and the other one's good, but he couldn't kick for posts. His tactical kicking was poor. His running onto the ball was bad. He made one awesome break. He almost got to the try line, and he just looked very much. I mean, watching live, you can just see how good Dan Bigger is.
Yeah.
You don't realize how good that guy is until you see him live, and he was so much more composed. He's just on another level compared to Janchis.
I thought Bigger's those cross up and under kicks. Yes, every time they're pinpoint.
All the kicks, all the up and unders from the Welsh team were brilliant. Our kicking, that's actually where we almost lost the game, was our kicking was so terrible. Thank heavens Colby can actually take a high ball. But I don't know, I thought the Welsh were pretty decent. I think one super lucky try, in about 15 minutes, Zamet scored again.
Yeah.
It was just the ball just went out.
Went over the line out, and then he kicked it.
Good players take their opportunities, and a hell of a good maul to almost towards the end there.
At the end there, I thought
frightened
that was
everyone.
The game, yeah. Bigger. I mean, it was a tough kick for Bigger to get over, but yes, if he had gotten it over, I think maybe the pressure would have been too much.
Yeah,
for us to come back like we did, and
because then it would have been to win the game.
Penalty, yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it was a good contest, I thought. I don't think the Springboks were good, and everyone's look. Willemse stood out as a general player. That's not the answer at fly-off. You can't be hedging your bets on the fact that you've got Willems in your team.
He's
to come
more
in
like utility, I think.
He's a utility, and actually he's a number 12. That's where I've
he
never
played
rated
all
him as a brilliant player, but he is a talented rugby player. He just needs the right position, and for me that was 12 with the Stormers. It's nice to have him as a backup, but imagine how you would feel if you had Morne Steyn on the bench, or like someone solid like that, or Chris Smith, or someone.
Or at least start with someone that, tends to sort of perform.
Well, exactly.
I was like, I negotiated that sentence.
No, I heard that. So look, at Willemse I don't want to actually think I'm ragging on him. He played outstanding yesterday, but he's not your answer at fly-off. He had so much. You can see on the field, he had so much of it. His kicking for post was actually not bad. He missed one kick, and he put a pressure kick over, and that's the best I've seen him play in a Springbok jersey.
He's got like this like focus about him that you didn't see before when he was a bit younger. He seems like more matured.
Yes, he runs with intent. He doesn't dance around behind the advantage line like he does for the Stormers so much. He was quite direct. He's got a bit of size and pace. So good all round. I thought was a little bit quiet. Delende was doing his usual, running the ball up nicely, but
I thought the guys that were quiet for me that are usually outstanding. Maybe Yeben was a little bit quiet for me.
Yeah, Luit was amazing, dude.
Luit was
unbelievable
all the time.
Luit he was unlucky not to get away with that little break.
Yeah,
because I don't know if that ball was actually knocked on. It looked like it was knocked. It was passed forward. That's what they said. It looked like it came backwards, and it was just a lucky thing, and he got through. But that's how it goes.
Yeah, I think Faf was, like we said, his kicking was poor. His service was slow. But what do you think for the rest for next week? Do you think we're gonna rally and blow them away, or is it going to be a tight contest to the end? Are we going to lose? I don't know where to take it from here.
No, I think we will have learned a good lesson, and I don't think we're going to struggle as much in the next few games, because we're going to see what works. Like, for example, having Willie at fullback, that's obviously the correct option at the moment. If you're not going to pick some of the on-form fullbacks, and bringing in Kwagga, Kwagga was big when he came on.
Yeah.
So maybe
he added some pace there.
Definitely, and we need to, if we just have a proper fly-half who can, and if our kicking game can improve. And I also think that the coaches are too reluctant to take Faf off the field.
Yeah.
Like, if Faf's having a bad game, we all know it's not going to get better.
Yeah.
So as soon as he's having a bad game, get him off.
Bring on Herschel. I thought Herschel actually played well when he came on.
I mean, Faf is an unbelievable player, but when it goes wrong, you must get him off.
But the errors that he makes with his kicking and that sort of thing, I'm not used to seeing it after this season's URC. I felt like across the board our scrum halves have been pretty accurate with their kicks, their box kicking and that.
Yeah, well, he plays in Europe, and we didn't get much of a look at him. But just one thing on the Welsh, it's nice to compete against the Welsh. I really like the attitude of the players. It's a cool team.
They're a tough team, yeah.
Yeah, and they're relatively humble and down to earth. They're not like some of the other European teams. And I'm pretty stoked that New Zealand gave Ireland a hiding. I think they needed to come down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, but the thing is, you didn't actually watch that game. I watched that game, and I felt like Ireland, whilst they were playing with their structured approach, they looked like they could win. They could actually win the game. It's just they try to get too loose, and then the All Blacks will blow you away, like we've seen many times against us. So I don't think that the series is lost for them, but I think they need to learn from this game in terms of how they approach games against the All Blacks.
Yeah, but I think what it does say is that everyone was like, South Africa's moved to URC, did Super Rugby. There's all this this weird commentary about the standard, but it turns out, don't ever underestimate the All Blacks.
Never. Especially not at Eden Park, where they haven't lost since like 1994.
No, you don't. They're always going to be up there, the best, or if not one of the best, and that's just how it's going to be no matter what. So you better take them seriously.
But I think in this next game, I think in 2012, if I remember correctly, I think in 2012 they almost drew Ireland and the All Blacks almost drew that game. in New Zealand.
Mm.
So maybe it's the second test where we're going to see a little bit of fireworks from Ireland. Let's see. And I like to keep the series alive. I mean, if I want to talk about the Welsh and the Springboks, obviously I want the Springboks to win now. But next week. But watching the All Blacks play Ireland, it would be cool if Ireland can maybe sneak a win.
It will be very lucky, and it's nice to have a competitive Irish team in it. And you kind of like, even as a South African fan participating, and you want to see that South Africa's won basically. To know that Ireland are your arch rivals, and to see them get hammered like that makes you feel kind of bad.
Yeah, you want them to be strong.
Yeah, because what does that mean for you?
I think they just approach the thing wrong.
Yeah,
incorrectly.
Did Argentina win their game?
They beat Scotland.
Oh my gosh, that's the Southern Hemisphere clean sweep again.
Yeah, especially with Australia beating
England,
which also was like like amazing. I mean, Australia having a red card in like the first I don't know how many minutes, and then ending up winning the game.
Yeah, but let's be honest, all of those, every single one of those teams played away.
Yeah.
So all the away teams lost.
Yeah, all the
they could very well, reverse when we go there. You know.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I think there's a nice like standard of competition in international rugby at the moment. It's
World rugby's in a good place.
Except for the All Blacks, I think they're maybe a cut above still.
They are definitely, and wait till we get into gear, then it's going to be tough for other guys. But just the one thing I need to mention is there's lots of refereeing inconsistency. I thought the ref was okay yesterday, but there's just too much inconsistency for me. Like, if there's any form of question mark on a try, you have to refer it. If there's any form of question mark on foul play, it has to be referred.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to have a collective refereeing decision so that you have a consistent outcome for each issue. Like the one example, and it's not a moan. The one example is that no arms tackle on Malarba, and then there was a no arms tackle by Visa
in the first half when he like got up. Sort of.
And I've watched it again and again, and it was a really unlucky situation.
It was super low, and you've got to grab his legs.
Yeah, you got to grab his legs.
Otherwise, that is going to happen. I mean, the guy, is he top heavy?
How do you refer to France? It looked very ridiculous, him flopping over like that. Yeah. But it was exactly the same with Visa's tackle. I mean, Visa had no choice. He went as low to the ground as possible, and he tried to make a tackle. Obviously, he didn't wrap, which is fair. But that was referred, as far as I understand it.
Yeah.
There was a decision, and he was given a penalty. And I just think, no moaning, just do the same thing, especially in big test matches or in finals or things like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the ref looked a little bit flustered yesterday in the Springbok game.
Yeah. But big weekend, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's get in there.
Yeah, go Bokke.
All right.